Okay, so before we get too crazy into this is going to be really dynamic. There's going to be people running through here bringing beer and food, so try not to be distracted. Um, First off, anybody have a food or dairy allergy? Peanuts, walnuts, cheese, you guys are okay? Jennifer doesn't need to do CPR. Good, just checking. Okay, cool. So, let's see if this actually works. It does, yay. So this is me. I am not an engineer, despite the fact that this is the Society of Barley Engineers. They let me in. I was a respiratory therapist and exercise physiologist for a really long time. I started before I was old enough to drink. I've been homebrewing for about 26 years with Lauren, and I'm a graduate of the American Brewers Guild. I'm a certified BJCP judge and Cicerone beer server, and yes, I am the co-owner and brewer of the Pink Flamingo Brewing Company. Yay. That's right. So why are we looking at beer and food pairing, you may ask? Because I was bored and I thought it would be a fun thing to do. Yay. So beer ingredients are agricultural products that change from year to year. You know, there's crops that change, weather, global warming, droughts, things like that. So your grain from last year is not the grain you get this year, right? Same with hops. Recipe formulation is going to change because your ingredients change from year to year, and also your availability for ingredients, especially with supply chain issues. I've noticed in the grocery store, it's harder to get the ingredients that I'm used to getting. So the impact of each component of both food and beer are going to affect, one is going to affect the other. And as they say, the sum of the parts may be greater than the whole. And your pairing can make or break your dining experience. So we're going to look at some of the senses that are involved in the enjoyment of food. So taste and aroma, texture or mouthfeel, sight, color and shape, and sound. So taste and aroma, you know, when you're judging beer or, you know, enjoying your food or your beer, you're going to smell it, you're going to taste it, you're going to look at it. Some textures are a little different than others. I'm not a big fan of tapioca because it's kind of weird. So, you know, the textures can have an effect. And sound, you know, crunchy apples, crispy celery. Some people are annoyed by that. Some people are okay with that. So the sound can relate to texture. Sense memory. When you smell or taste something, it may bring back a memory. Grandma's cookies. Right? He's left. He was right here. We have a friend. We were at a whiskey tasting not too long ago, and a friend of ours was describing the aroma he got from the whiskey, and he described it as the inside of an old plastic container. And so he had this memory of what, you know, this. So, you know, things will trigger. You know, aromas and taste can trigger memories. So does anybody have an example they can think of that, you know, a beer or food has brought back a happy memory or a not so happy memory? No? You're not going to help me out? Yes, Matt. Oh, musty basement. Yeah, babies. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, the sulfur from hard-boiled eggs. Yeah, so may or may not be a good memory for you.
I think that grandma's basement thing is something we tasted during the wild and sour competition. That was one of those.
You're back. Okay. There we are. So the role of taste in food enjoyment. Taste drives our appetite to satisfy the need for nutrients and energy. It can act as a reward and give us satisfaction, and it can protect us from poisons. It's that old, honey, is this good? All right. So, and there are reasons for why these tastes can trigger things. So sweet makes you want to have energy-rich nutrients because, you know, sugar is really good for you. Salty allows you to regulate dietary needs like electrolyte balance. So if you're a little dehydrated, you may want something salty. Sour usually indicates spoilage. Back to honey, is this still good? Bitter can, apparently, what is it? One of the poisons that's escaping me now is cyanide. Thank you. Thought that was almonds. Okay, so poisons can be bitter. And umami basically is a balanced taste that rounds out the overall flavor of a dish. All right. So the role of aroma in food enjoyment. Aroma molecules must be small enough to volatilize. So when you taste, especially with beer and wine, you want it to warm up so that it'll volatilize, so that you can get the aroma. So the warmer the liquid, the more volatile the molecules are. So there are 347 functional sensory receptors in the nose. There's your cocktail party trivia for the week. And 80% of the tasting experience comes from the aroma. So you may notice that when you have a cold and you can't smell, or you also can't taste anything. So they are related. All right, texture. Yeah. Perceived by the sense of touch, pressure, sight, and hearing. So again, the crunchy apples and celery, and the dreaded tapioca. Physical properties include size, shape, and the nature of the structural elements. And mouthfeel is the evaluation of a texture by all the parts of the mouth and is related to the water content. All right. Any questions so far? We're doing good? All right, then we get to sight, because you're going to eat with your eyes. So it's going to give you the initial clues of about the food, the shape, the color. And color is really interesting in that some colors are more pleasant to the eye than others. So orange and red apparently is really good. Yellow-orange, a little, not as good, but it's okay. Yellow-green, a little bit less. And nobody likes purple and gray. So, eggplants are out. All right. Okay, so this is when it gets wild and crazy. I need my volunteers to leap up and help Lauren in the back. So what we're gonna do is you've all gotten 5 cups. You're gonna get 4 little containers of food, and we're gonna go through them one at a time with a beer to pair. So, and if you can, try and save a little bit of the beer and the food so that you can mix and match, because sometimes what may be good with one may not be good with another, or vice versa. So my lovely volunteers are going to be bringing stuff around. Yeah. Yeah, so even though it says you have 5 beers, we're starting with 4, or five pairings, we're starting with 4. No, you're starting with 4, even though it says 5 on the slide. There's a method. Thank you. Yeah. Has everybody got 4 cups of food? Anybody missing anything? Hello? Yes. Everybody have 4 cups You're going to get a beer in just a sec. I promise. Okay, we're almost there. So in the past, Chris Banker nicely did some beer and cheese pairing with us, which was awesome. But we're going to do something similar, but we're going to do a little bit more in-depth. So the first beer you're going to be getting is... before we get to that, sorry. So there are four C's of beer and food pairing. The first one is complementary, where the beer complements the food due to similarities between the two of them. The second is contrasting, wherein a flavor from the beer heightens another flavor due to a difference in flavor or other constituents such as acidic, oily, or buttery. Cut or cleanse, where the beer cuts an element of the food, and clash, where the beer and the food flavors fight each other and make a god-awful mess. So, your beer is coming around. So our first pairing, you're wondering what the cheese is. So open container number 1, and it is it's a lovely goat cheese from Cypress Grove. It's a Meyer lemon and honey goat cheese. And you're going to pair it with Booze Brothers Penny Blonde. Open it and share it, darn it. Sharing is caring, yes. So has everybody got a beer and the cheese? So dig in, think about it. If you can, save a little bit for later. And I want feedback from all of you. You have to get it from Cypress Grove. You're wondering where your dues are going? Cheese, exactly. Right. So you've got the, John, what do you think? Yeah. What about with the beer? Get to the beer. Anybody have any comments? Yes, Matt. Ding, ding, ding. Ooh, say that again.
So, I feel like the malty sweet cuts through, or it complements the creaminess of the cheese. The high carbonation really helps cut through the fat.
Very good. Anybody else have any comments, please? Oh, geez, where's the other mic? Don't make me run. You ran this morning. Hang on.
So in addition to what Matt said, I also get some pleasant floral qualities that come out of the beer, probably from the hops that is getting elevated by the pairing with the cheese.
Cool. Anybody else? Please help me out. Over there. Yeah.
I also think the beer pulls out the lemon in the cheese quite well, and the malt offsets a lot of the normal tang of a goat cheese. So yeah, the pairing is actually quite surprising. I was a little I looked at it at first and went, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it works really well.
Yeah, cool. All right.
So that's complementary.
Yeah, so far so good, right? Okay, I'm going to make him run again. All right, so our next one is going to be a goza with pineapple. So this is a contrast. So we've got the saltiness of a goza with the sweetness of a pineapple. You think I'm crazy, but it really works. So hang on one sec. Your beer is coming. Holiday wines. It's a traditional goza that we found. I have to look at the can. I didn't buy it. My husband did. Yeah, you know, send him out for stuff. Go fetch, dear. All right, does everybody have, excuse me, does everybody have beer number 2? So we're going to try it with a pineapple. And it is a traditional goza. I would tell you what it is, but it just left. All right.
This is an original Leipziger goza beer.
Okay, there you go. So to
This
speak.
goes back many generations, and it was started to be brewed again by this brewery.
Thank you. All right. So what do we think? Yes. That's okay. I can write.
Very simply, the pineapple brightens the flavor. It sweetens and lightens it.
So the pineapple, she said that the pineapple brightens up, or the sweetness brightens up with the beer. Oh, yes.
Yeah, the salt really makes the pineapple pop. Salt, I think, classically makes sweeter things sweeter.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea behind salted caramel, right?
Right. And yeah, my grandmother used to put salt on watermelon, and it would kind of brighten it up. Or grapefruit, yeah. All right. Any other comments, questions? So you can try the goza with the cheese and see what happens. Just for fun. Yeah. I'm in the habit of, when I'm in, like chocolate tastings or cheese, I always try and save a little bit of each and then go back and forth, and sometimes you find something more interesting. Okay. So anybody like the goza with the cheese? It makes the cheese a little sharper. Yeah, so that.
I was actually going to say that it makes the cheese taste like vomit.
None for you. Apparently we're cutting him off now. Okay. So as I stall while they frantically open more beer. Any other comments? We doing good? All right. So your next pairing, we're going to cut or suppress. So it's a contrast where sometimes it can have sort of a cleansing effect on your palate. So with this one, we're doing an IPA with walnuts. And the fat from the walnut is going, you may find that it kind of, the IPA sort of cuts that fat. But also, with the walnuts, it's also a textural thing because they're kind of rough. So kind of keep that in mind. So this is Modern Times West Coast IPA with walnuts, which is number 3 on your hit parade. All right. Everybody got the IPA? Oh, almost. Oh. Well, that's because your table mates are mean. Okay, how we doing? What do we think of the IPA and the walnuts? Yes, dear.
Trying to make it easy for you, Judy. I actually find that the walnuts in the IPA, it's bitter and bitter. I don't get that much fat from the walnuts, but they're complementary to me rather than your cut and suppress.
Yeah, no, that's good. Everybody's palate's going to be different. Where's the other mic? My lovely assistant is busily drinking. Can't get good help.
So I feel like the bitterness from the IPA takes some of that, like the nuttiness, the sort of like raw nuttiness from the walnut, and suppresses it, and you get a little bit more of a roasted flavor from the walnut. That's what I felt on it.
Yeah, no, that's good. Anybody else? Peanut gallery over there in the left.
One more comment.
I think it changes over time. So you take the sip, and at first, the fat from the walnuts balances out the IPA nicely. And then as you keep eating the walnut, the bitterness on the skin from the walnut transforms the bitterness of the IPA, and it emphasizes that for me.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
I think one of the comments I have is that just in general, pairing beer with food or wine with food, or is that the order that you taste them in affects things differently. So you get a little, and sometimes starting with one over the other is a better pairing.
Yeah. Chris?
I'm not allergic to the walnuts, and I'm not allergic to the IPA, but these two together really make me want to sneeze.
Wow. Hang on, Ryan. Yeah.
So for me, the walnut brings out more citrus and dulls the more tropical notes.
Yeah.
And then if you go back to the cheese cancels out the citrus and then brings forward more tropical notes.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah, mix and match.
Yeah.
Something else that'll make it a little interesting is letting the beers warm up a bit. As you were saying, you'll get more aromas, and the flavors will shift over it. So if you hang on to it a little while, you may get a different pairing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's I've found that a lot. That as things warm up and volatilize, that things tend to change.
Definitely, temperature is a big effect.
Yeah. All right. So we're good. We're still having fun. You're still talking to me. I've lost my chingadera. Okay. We're up to number 4. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Sorry. Just a tease. Yeah. Okay. So we've gotten to the hot mess. So a clash is where two things should never meet. So the example I've been taught is a barley wine and salad. God, why? So I'm really sorry, but you get a barley wine and some salad. That's right. That's why there's dessert. So yeah. It's okay. Yeah. I know, I got to sell this better. Ryan has a question.
Not a question, but I had this beer when it came out, so it's been out a few years. It's an American barley wine, so it's pretty hoppy. So as soon as you have an aged top character mixed with chopped salad, and you start getting into that kind of, vegetal, green kind of thing going on. But there's still some good sweetness left in the beer to kind of carry through and not make it disgusting.
I really didn't want this to be disgusting. I just, I had to have some kind of thing that would clash, and that's what I could come up with. Mission accomplished, yay. Okay, any positive comments about this?
Other than it's not a great pairing.
Other than it's a clash, yeah. Yeah, cheese and barley wine. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel when I eat the salad and then take a sip of the barley wine, like the salad just kind of goes away, and all I have is the texture of the salad, which is meh.
Yeah. Meh is okay.
Good comment.
Lynn?
So I noticed that the barley wine brought out almost a. Oh shoot! Now you made me forget what I was. An astringency in the chopped salad. So.
Yeah, an astringency. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So that you don't completely hate me, so that you don't hate me after all of this. Oh. Come on. Oh. Too far. There we go. I still love you because I gave you dessert. All right, so we have brownies and Bagby's Biggie Stout. So the beer is coming. All
Do you have any good suggestions for beer with salad?
Any good suggestions for beer with salad? No. I don't know, a blonde? We lose our battery? All right.
Judy, somebody asked about the question about what would pair well with salad.
Yeah, Sean
And
Daniels.
We did a beer and food pairing over at Stone one year, and they paired the Cicerone there paired a Belgian triple with a salad, and it was just delicious. It was really good.
Okay, so Belgian triple. And
Belgian
a salad.
triple.
All right. Okay, does everybody have brownies and stout? No? None? It's coming. Yeah, Matt, these guys need stout. Yeah. Anybody need any beer? We good? Okay. So pairing dark beers with chocolate is always good. You can also pair cheesecake with a Belgian double. Where's the cheesecake? You know how hard it is to make a cheesecake for 40 people? You're lucky I made you brownies, okay?
You brought it up, not me.
I know. We still love you. Any questions, comments, complaints?
Is anybody enjoying this pairing?
Okay. Any suggestions, other dessert suggestions?
I was just curious if these are the gluten-free brownies.
No, these are not.
They're not.
The only reason that the other brownies were gluten-free is because there's no flour and it's all chocolate and sugar.
Which makes them really rich and awesome.
They're amazing.
I'm probably in the minority. I do not like chocolate desserts paired with chocolatey beers.
What would you suggest instead?
I'm not the only one. Talk to Tyson at O'Brien's. He's with me on this one.
Okay. So what?
I like the brownie paired with the IPA the most.
Yeah.
Which I know that's out there for a lot of people.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's way too contrasting. It brings out too much booziness in the base beer.
Yeah.
The chocolate completely goes away from me on my palate.
Oh, wow.
It just
Okay.
brings out booziness, especially when you're dealing with the bigger beers.
Right, yeah.
And this is a bigger beer. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So it might go well with the Goza as well. I haven't tried that yet, but with the brownie, but we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, so we're saying that the brownie in an IPA is a good thing.
I think that the brownie works really well with booze.
With
booze? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think booze in general, like the chocolate is going to emphasize the booze, and then it brings it down like a nice shot going down the back of your throat. And so if you don't want that, like, yeah, it's definitely unpleasant. But I think it cuts through the booze to then smooth it out, and then you get some of the other flavors in the beer that were there other than the booze.
Yeah.
And if you did like a red wine or something really deep,
Or a
like
port.
it does the same for. That's why like it's more about chocolate and booze. So that's why you want like a higher alcohol. Like you want something with a bite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try with the barley one. That's good. I think I can see with a wheat wine or but yeah. So I loved it. But then again, I'm a chocoholic.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. What?
I want to try the brownie with the lemon graham cracker.
Ooh, I have to talk to David about that.
I always like chocolate with lemon. I feel like the sourness balances the sweetness really well, and yeah.
Cool.
Any other
Anybody
comments or
else?
suggestions?
Just to go with the brownie, I feel like the barley wine isn't as much with the brownie because the stout is pretty thin, and I feel like the brownie's pretty thick, so that like kind of evens it out. The
Mhm.
barley wine kind of makes you just have too thick,
Yeah, too
items.
heavy.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right, that's all the pairing I have, but I have some suggestions for your, if you have any leftover Halloween candy. M. Sauter from Pints and Panels always has lovely little suggestions. So we have a Twix and a Czech Dark Lager, Skittles and a wheat beer, Kit Kats and English Porter, Milky Way and Scottish Export, M&M's and a Belgian Double, Swedish Fish, and a Flanders Red. Swedish Fish.
Swedish fish?
Swedish Fish.
Swedish fish.
Swedish Fish.
Go back.
Swedish Fish and a Flanders. I don't know what they are. Yeah. A Reese's and a Stout, Gummy Bears and Wit Beer, and Mounds and Imperial Stout. So, if you got leftovers. I'm the only one who likes that stuff. Candy corn. It's just wax. Come on. All right. So, in general, you want the beer to be the side dish. You don't want it to be the main focus of the meal, right? So try and match in intensities so the beer or the food flavors are not completely overpowering each other. But don't be afraid to experiment. So like with, trying the different pairings that we did, this with that, it can be fun. Questions? We good? You still kind of like me after all that wonderful food? So I want to thank all my lovely volunteers who distributed all the food and beer. Couldn't have done it without you guys. And I want to thank Lauren with Beard for making my presentation so classy, because he did all the work. Yay.
And how about cheers to Judy for putting that together?